Welcome to Chapter 5. In this chapter, we will discuss and dig deep into ethical decision making. By the end of this chapter, you should be able to provide a comprehensive model for ethical decision making in business, examine issue intensity as an important element, introduce individual factors as well as organizational factors that influence decision making in business, explore the role of opportunity, understand normative considerations, recognize the role of institutions in normative decision making, and examine the importance of principles and core values. Figure 5.1 provides you with a framework for understanding ethical decision making in business. You see that you have the intensity, individual and organizational factors, and opportunity, and those are funneled into our evaluations and intentions that then become our behavior, either ethical or unethical. Ethical issue intensity looks at the relevance of an event or decision in the eyes of an individual, work group, and or organization. It reflects the ethical sensitivity of that person or that group when they're faced with having to make an ethical decision. Here are some of the factors that are taken into consideration: our gender, locus of control, age, education, and nationality. Our organizational factors are our corporate ethical cultures, our significant others, and how obedient we are to authority. Opportunity comes from the conditions that we have as an organization that either will limit or permit either ethical or unethical behavior, and it results from conditions that either provide rewards or fail to erect barriers against unethical behavior. It will relate to our immediate job context and can be eliminated by formal codes, rules, and policies that can be gained through exposure to company information. Dilemmas occur when rules governing decisions are vague or in direct conflict. There are no substitutes for critical thinking and the ability to take responsibility for one's decisions. As I truly believe that one of the things that is becoming lost that we need to reclaim is our critical thinking skills. We take what is given to us and we run with it as its fact versus, really dissecting it and digging deep in to say, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense, and here's why. And then at the core of all of that is taking responsibility for what you do and what you say, owning your part in something. And so the ethical decision-making process includes our intentions and our final decisions regarding the actions that we choose. And our work culture impacts both recognition and judgment. It does not help in determining if a business decision is right or wrong. It actually provides us insight about ethics and ethics tied to the decisions that we make. Something can be unethical and be right, and something can be ethical and be wrong. That's not what the model helps with. Business ethics involves value judgments and collective agreement about acceptable patterns of behavior tied to business. It's interesting because you have some great business leaders and educators and academics who say that ethics is ethics and it doesn't matter if it's business or not, and it's very true. Sadly, we have to tie it into business because people, for whatever reason, cannot seem to get the basics of ethics in a general concept of our personal lives and realize the need to implement that into our professional lives. We believe that the two are separate when integrity, honesty, and and fairness, those three core factors that make up our ethics, is the same whether it's what we do in our home or what we do in the workplace. It should be, but sadly it's not. And so this model's helping to gain an understanding of the factors that make up ethical decisions, that helps in differentiating between an ethical issue and an actual dilemma. The normative approach examines what the ideal standard should be in our decision-making process and within the organization as well as the industry as a whole. And so there's normative rules and standards that are based on our individual moral values and then the collective values of the organization. So we're bringing in all of the lenses, so to speak, of the organization versus the one singular lens that we hold as individuals. Under this, organizations operate based on institutional norms and rules, and you face normative pressures from different institutions to act in a way that's prescribed by the institution as a whole. The normative business ethics considers the political realities outside the legal realm as industry standards. So our nature of competition can be shaped by the economic system. And so it helps us to look at how a particular country or society distributes its resources in the production of products. Values made normative by social institutions are followed by businesses to compete fairly. Here are two concepts. So you have John Rawls, who believed that justice principles were beliefs that everyone could accept, but there's a veil of ignorance that he examines how individuals would formulate principles if they were uncertain about their future position in society. And you should read more about that and do further research on these on the mindset in his theory. Came up with different principles, one of which was the liberty principle that stated that each person has basic rights that are compatible to the basic liberties of others. And then the difference principle states that economic and social equalities or inequalities should be arranged to provide the most benefit to the least advantaged members of society, not to those that have the greatest advantage. Companies convert basic principles into core values, which are by providing abstract ideals that are distinct from individual values and daily operational procedures. They include operating in a sustainable manner, collaboration and teamwork, and avoiding bribery, which is very huge in every industry in business. And then providing a blueprint into the firm or organization's goals and how it views ethical decision making. Figure 5.2 shows you something visually of principles and values. So you have your principles and values in the orange boxes, and your principles are widely accepted, used to develop values and standards. They're valued across cultures. They establish a pervasive boundaries for behavior. And so from that, it's saying, we will practice transparency in all our communications. We will work to ensure the rights of all of our stakeholders. We will obey all relevant laws in the countries in which we do business. Those are your principles. Your values are subjective and they're related to choice. You use them to develop norms. They differ across cultures and different organizations. They provide guidance, right, to your organization. So, for instance, you could say we will offer the best quality products in the industry. We will encourage teamwork and collaboration to come up with best solutions. We will establish trustworthy relationships with stakeholders. You could see this, the principles versus the values. It's, there are clear boundaries for behavior when you talk about principles. And when you talk about values, they're very subjective, and it's just a guidance and this would be nice, right? There's a difference. This is what would be nice if we could do this. Top level support is instrumental in helping employees engage in their personal approaches to this. It's everything, the culture of your organization, the heartbeat is it starts at that top. And if the top is not 100% invested in this, no one else in the organization will be. You have to be able to interweave this throughout the organization, and it must start at the top. Normative perspectives set forth ideal goals to which organizations should aspire, and knowledge about ethical decision making helps in making good decisions. The more you know about it, the better you can do. And that's in anything, right? So it should apply to ethics. And we have to make sure that it is something. That's the reason why I say that ethics should not just be taught once you go to college. It should be something that is actually a class or a textbook or part of something, and that's brought into if not elementary, at least middle school. It should start, and it should be a regular course that's provided in high school. It should just be an is period. So with that, that is the end of chapter 5. If you have any questions, please email me.